From the second I was born, I was on a spiritual quest. That's what this life's all about. The big thing with walking away from the dope scene is being able to live in your own skin, which I'm becoming pretty good at. I do this walking by myself every day I have off, and I think, and I try to connect with my emotions. With meditation, you learn to control your thoughts, or at least filter them, which in turn helps control your emotions, which in turn helps you live the right way. And the right way is not anyone else's way except your own. When I was young, I used to do PCP. Very strong hallucinogen, not recommended for anyone. It was a pretty bad time. It was a very prominent drug in my city in the early 70s, all the way until like the early 80s. I imagined myself, or hallucinated, that I was walking along a stage, and it was a line of people standing next to each other, elbow to elbow, staring straight ahead. No one I knew, faceless pretty much to me, more or less. The guy next to me was in a suit. I don't know who he was. No, I didn't really take a notice to his face. I wasn't really inquisitive. I was more or less dreaming. The line of people went endlessly, like an endless path in front of me, endless path behind me. We came to a spot where there was an empty space. He goes, "Here's your place." It's more or less my place in society, my place on earth, my place in America. I looked at the opening, and I kind of looked at the guy, and I ran through it like an open door. That was probably 35 or 36 years ago, and I never came back to it until now. And my realization is, I'm just coming back the other way and you're doing the same thing, because there's no place for me to stand. I'm not even worried about that. It's nothing in my mind. Something that's helped me immensely is my own philosophies. One of my philosophies has been to view the timeline. It could be the timeline of civilization. It could be the timeline of the planet Earth. And where I am on that timeline. 200 years, no one will even know who I was. Be dust. I'm not much of a believer in the afterlife, and I really don't feel the need. The timeline has to be walked away from for true accomplishments. People come off the dope and say, "I found my purpose, and it's to help people." Be it drug counselor or whatever. Helping people is your duty from the day you were born. I'm not saying it's a bad occupation. I couldn't do it. It would be too frustrating for me. Having people lie to you constantly and boldly, and know that you know they're lying. I'm inching towards, I guess, what I will do as an occupation. I've had a job as a salesman, and I've held it, but it's not in a very good place. It's probably one of the few places I could have held a job, being under the influence of drugs the way I have been. But it's time to move on. I came in there, I believe, in 2007 or 2008, I don't even remember. I was on Suboxone, which I was successful with for about 6 months. But in that time, I was able to pass a drug test, but not since, until now again, with methadone. I'm only a half hour away from my house. maybe 40 minutes from the major U.S. city where I could score dope if I wanted. Why would I want to? Why would I want to leave this idyllic scene to take a drug that will ultimately lead me into horror? All the guidance you need's inside of you. You just gotta find it, and you gotta want to. If the argument to use a drug starts in your head, you've lost. If you go, I'd like to get high, and then the head swings back, goes, no, I don't want it. You've already lost. If you allow it to even start, you've lost. I got to the point when I was using that I would not even waste my time. Once the argument started, I would leave. I would go get dope. I would find some way to get high or get straight or whatever. When I first came off it, I could hardly walk. And my right knee was so messed up because I was shooting those instant release opanas in my leg because my arms were so messed up. I had a black line on my arm so visible. It's still there, but people don't look at stuff like that. Normal people, only junkies do, and they don't mean shit. When I first went on methadone, I put on my act and wore my dope addict clothes, and I didn't speak to anyone. And they left me alone. Maybe because I'm a little older. I've had some people approach me to try and sell me Xanaxes, which I have no interest in. I took a Xanax and I woke up 10 years later. That was my last experience with them friggin' things. That'll get you kicked off methadone maintenance, which I have been. I've been kicked off methadone maintenance, I've been kicked off Suboxone, I've been kicked off pain management. And the day that happens is a very, very bad day. But the drugs don't care about your physical well-being. They're not living things. Trying to analyze what opium is a waste of your time. All it is the door to years and years of suffering and sorrow and sickness and horror. Once you're in it, you don't see that. Do you ever see these shows where they'll show these junkies on the mad runs, and once they score it and shoot it in front of the person, they get all guilty? Because that's the truth of the matter. When you're by yourself or with your friends, it's all good. But when you're with someone who it's not like a thing for, where they don't really understand it, you see the darkness, you see the waste of time. Time is very, very valuable. I got off dope heroin when my daughter was a month before she was born. And back then it was pretty relatively easy. It wasn't no 3 days, wasn't no 5 days, but in 30 days I went back to work. Now that would not happen at my age. Now the withdrawals are horrifying, beyond horrifying. Every nightmarish thought that could happen in a person's mind. What's over there? I can see a yellow sign. I can see no posted signs down there. I hate when people post land like this. Although there's access over there. I gotta find out what road road that is. That's what I do. I get Google Maps. I look for areas, real forested areas close by. I search them out, make sure they're not posted. Because that's the last thing you want to do is deal with assholes that are police. You want to walk away from that mad world. And the view you get of police from being on drugs is not good. I mean, you're taking something that makes you feel different. But there's a lot of consequences to that. But the cops by themselves, if there were no consequence, they tag you as a scumbag just for taking the stuff. Wow, this is pretty cool, man. I don't want to get too close to that edge, but I gotta find a way to get down here someday. I could do that, but I'm not gonna today. Looks like a trail's over there too. My health is getting better and better. I couldn't have done this, walked this far 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Don't see many animals, but it's actually right now, today is December 15th. So it's really amazing that it's this warm out. Maybe this is a nice trail down. No, it is, but now with this camera, I'll find an easier way. See, I find a lot of simile, metaphors, whatever, in walking a trail in the forest. I guess you could liken it to walking a trail in the old days when, say, wolves and bears and stuff were around. And they would represent the temptations or the other users or the people that would victimize you. And how do you defeat them? Number one, if you got to go through where they're going, have some tools, some weapons. Don't mean like physically like knives and guns, but someone asked me, you need some bars, you need some Xanax. I'm cool. No, I'm cool, man. Act like you're all fucked up or something. Don't let them in. They get in, they'll want to know everything about you and they want to fucking feed off you like a vampire. Well, this sure beats the park, huh? Like this walking stick, a tool, keep your balance, meditation, keeps your balance. You have to meditate, you have to learn how to do it. I used guided meditation first of all. I think if you've listened to any of my tapes, you'll know that I don't really have a fondness for Narcotic Anonymous just because of what I've experienced. And it's like, well, you don't want me in if I'm on a replacement therapy. That may have changed, but I know those crackheads who are totally solo and they've quit everything, but they're fucking maniacs and screaming and yelling and berating young kids, sending them back out into who knows what. There's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. But man, you get a bunch of heroin addicts together that are still using it, and it's game on, man. Very hard to control a group like that. It would have to be almost a pick and choose to begin with. I mean, you'd need to have time, proven clean time, just to get in the door, or else you would turn the group upside down. What do we got here? orange. That's today. There must be another entrance to where the way I came in. I'm about 2-3 miles from my car. Kind of risky when it might rain today. But I could weather the storm. One thing good to remember too is no matter what, the day will end. Even the worst day of your life is going to end. If you're doing a straight solo withdrawals, good luck to you, because that's a long, long day. I'm not going to get too crazy. Are campy though, because I'm still in a county park or county protected area. Posted County of Erie public lands. It's just don't hunt and fish. Boy, this is fantastic, man. Now this creek will go all the way to the lake and empty out into the lake. One thing I do a lot of reading about the area, and I found there was a tribe, I think they're called Kau, K-A-U, that their camps were set up around this creek, 18 Mile. And the Eries were to the west. The Senecas were to the east. And the Senecas, I believe, were friends with the Eries, but somehow eventually just assimilated them. Senecas were some badasses, man. Never any offense to any Native Americans coming from me either. I'm guessing I'm not meeting anyone on this trail because it's kind of a overcast, windy day, threat of rain, but it's still like probably 50, maybe a little less. Normally we've got snow, so this is super cool. Good year for me to walk off this crap. I mean, I got a lot of problems coming up, I got a lot of problems now, but after coming through that madness, anything is doable, man. That laying on the couch with your eyes pried open. You can't watch TV because all it does is take your mind into hell or strange daydreams or mind dreams. Fall asleep in it. You can't fall asleep. Every time you try to, your body wakes you up. And a lot of that is that your body is screaming. Every nerve and cell in your body is screaming for that drug. And they're going to kick the shit out of you until you get it for it. I don't understand the dichotomy of mind and body, but it does exist. Look at the beech trees. There's a lot of different trees here. Beech, oak, sycamore, cedar. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk through the forest on the way back. I'm going to sign off for now.